Hi there folks, welcome back to my channel, and for this video I am back in the town of Montrose. I actually parked up outside the hotel I'm going to be staying at for the next few nights. It's called the Lynx Hotel. It's actually not that far from the actual centre of the town, from the main street. So I'm going to be here for the Angus Book Festival, which has previously taken part in Brecon, but this year it's going to be taking place in Montrose. And it's getting hosted here at the Lynx Hotel. So I'm going to do a wee video showing you around the hotel, showing you kind of where I'm going to be staying, and yeah, and I will link in their website into the description bar below and into the pinned comment. So if you want to have somewhere to stay, you can look them up and see if you want to book yourself in. And again, if you enjoy my channel, if you enjoy my videos, if you can click on the subscribe button, click on that notification bell, leave some likes, leave some comments, it's always really appreciated. And if you'd like to support the channel further, I will post a link to the channel's coffee.com page and the channel's TikTok account in the description bar below and in the pinned comment in the comment section. So with that out of the road, I'm going to grab my things and get on inside. Yeah, so there's going to be a couple of events on tonight for the festival. I think the first one's going to be a panel. There's going to be, I think, 3 of the authors that are taking part in the festival. And there's going to be a quiz later on. So I'll be taking part in that and taking some footage for you all. And then there's also going to be some stuff on tomorrow. Selling copies of my books. And be taking part in a panel about mythology and legends tomorrow evening. So should be keep myself busy, and yeah, should be fun.
Chris Long here. I write contemporary crime thrillers, historical murder mysteries, and I have one historical saga.
I'm Forbes Ingalls. I write on ghosts in the supernatural, murders and public hangings in the 19th century. I've done a book based on my columns in the Montrose Review, which was sort of based on history and nostalgia, and a history of Montrose Football Club. I've been asked once if couldn't I write about something happy, and I said I wrote a book on the football club, and they said, I repeat again, can't write something happy.
I'm Glenys Wilson. From the accent you can tell I was born and bred here. My local at the time when I wrote my book was Sydney, so this is a book about a murder and more of a mystery than a sort of police procedural, if you want, that took place around an insane asylum on Sydney's shores. And it's my book's coming up. One's in Melbourne, but the third book, which is nearly finished, is going to be based in London and come up to the Glens.
Yeah, so I will link in the book festival's website, as I was saying earlier on, if you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on. Yeah, so this is the night before, just a wee rough setup. Probably do a bit of jiggery pokery by the table tomorrow morning. Yeah, so that's my table all set up. And all honesty, I'm actually glad I'm inside today because it is a bit grotty. Glad I'm not driving up this morning.
Go with that first. Who wants to start?
Me? Oh. Well, can you hear me, everyone?
Yeah.
So I tend to write true crime mysteries.
Yeah. Well, that's the main part of the day finished with. Even though there were people there, it didn't make any sales. And I'm actually starting to get to the point where I'm really thinking about giving up and just stop doing like events and just stop doing like craft fairs because a lot of the time it's just like expense upon expense. Obviously, having to have like copies of my books and finding somewhere to store them, as well as obviously kind of travelling to these events. So again, with this, with me being up in Montrose, so obviously there's the cost of like me travelling up here. There's the cost of like me staying over, like in order to actually take part in the event, because again, it's gonna be like far too much to be able to drive up, take part in the event, like for one day, drive home, drive up the next day and drive home again. It's just, even that would be a massive expense. And I was actually really hoping that with the festival being moved to Montrose, and with it being in a bigger town, that there would be like more members of the public coming in and taking part in the event and buying books. And I was just getting to the point where I just becoming just totally disheartening. And I was just getting to that point where I am just thinking about quitting events, because it just does feel like they're just going nowhere and I'm not actually achieving anything by actually taking part in them. But that's the thing, is like, I want to see events like this do well. I want to see events like succeed and get the attention it deserve, but it's just getting to the point where it's just getting exhausting and disheartening, and yeah. And one thing that also annoys me as well is like, you'll get people that, you know, who'll be like, oh yeah, we'll come along, and they don't show up. And they won't say anything, they'll just not show up. So that kind of gets to you as well, so, well, I will be sticking around till tomorrow as well, and hopefully tomorrow will be a busier day and a more productive day, but yeah, it's just starting to get to me.
Or use the facilities, and then we'll go on with the second half, okay? Some of the folk here tonight, I've got some of the books on sale, just in case I forget to mention it afterwards. And also we've got Tombola running during the break, so what do you pay? Yes.
On the sun-scorched reeds in late summer, I know a place where the geese fly overhead, telling the story of autumn and spring. I know a place where the silver salmon smolts hesitate, waiting, letting their body chemistry change, ready for the journey out on the cresting waves, out to the ocean, half a world away.
Witches. They were generally women, although there was the occasional man. One or two men were killed, and I'm talking about Richen accused. Montrose also had its trials. The spate of the witch, the Great Scottish Witch lasted 180 years. There was a lot of people tried between the 1560s and the 1730s. It ran and ran and ran, and it was terrifying. And it was also, a territory battle between the church and the Catholic lords up here. So you found that wherever you had a Catholic lord, like Errol and Huntley, you'd have more profound trials as King James in particular came in. So the king had come north in the 1860s and wanted a couple of trials, and he had 40 people arrested in Arbroath in 1868, or his commissioners, because as you said, the magistrates, the commissioners, did a lot of the trials.
Voices singing the fairy lullaby. Those swaddling clothes become the fairy flag. Long before written records, a chief of the MacLeods married a fairy. They were together for a year and a day before the fairy had to return to fairyland. Their sorrowful parting took place at the Fairy Bridge near Dunvegan. As a memento, she gave the chief the banner and told him that whenever the clan was hard-pressed in battle, flying it would deliver victory, no matter how unlikely. With her final words, she warned him that this magic could be used only 3 times.
Walk out the door and then down to the beach and walk along the coast. We'd come to a place where there's a thicket of trees growing quite close together, and it's dense and it's dark, and if we were to part those trees, behind we'd find the entrance to a cave that's been there for nobody knows how long. And in that cave is the answer to every question that ever is, ever was, or ever will be. Because in that cave there sits an old woman. A woman so old that some people say that she was the midwife to time itself. And she sits, and she waits. And she waits because nobody ever goes to find her, to ask the answers to those questions. But while she sits, she spins and she weaves. She spins threads from all the fibres, from all the plants and the animals that she can find, from minerals themselves. She makes the most beautiful threads, and with these threads she is weaving. She's weaving a shawl of the most incredible pattern you have ever seen. The pattern is so beautiful, so rich, so lush, it would make you weep.
Yeah, so I'm set up for day 2 of the Angus Book Festival. I've managed to get myself a better spot than I did have yesterday. I was up in the corner yesterday. It's a bit more central today. Yeah, so I'm going to be taking part in the poetry reading later on today. So that's going to be up there. And yeah, so that should be a little good thing to take part in.
First, maybe you read some of the books you've written and about yourself.
Hi, yes, I'm Lexi Cunningham, and I started off writing books set in crime fiction set in Georgian Scotland, mostly because I wasn't technologically adept enough to keep up with all of the police procedural advances and indeed any kind of advances in technological
Magic. Yeah. Well, since everybody likes a story, I thought I would tell you my favourite story. Is that okay? Yeah, so this is my favourite story. And it maybe has a tiny little bit of magic in it, but it's real magic. It's like if you trust yourself and you trust other people, sometimes magic can happen. Oh, when the trees, the forest covered from sea to shining sea, there lived a family in the middle of the woods. And there was lots of people in the family. There were lots of children. There were mums and dads and aunts and uncles and grannies and grandpas and everybody. And they all lived...
Well, that's the Angus Book Festival finished for another year. And I know I was a bit of a dwam after the first day, or kind of after the day event. But again, I did actually manage to end up selling some books during the folklore and mythology event in the evening. I did actually manage to sell some books yesterday. So it was at least something, it was at least going in the right direction. But again, hopefully, I'm planning to come back at least to this one next year. And hopefully, like, the word will kind of start to get out a bit more and people start to realise it's here. Yeah, we'll have more people kind of coming along to the festival itself. So I've pretty much all my stuff is packed up, back in the car. Just have to grab my suitcase and my rucksack, sign myself out and get back into the car. So hopefully you will have enjoyed this video, and I will link in the Angus Book Festival for the website. So again, you can keep an eye on the website for next year's events. And yeah, so I think they're planning on doing events kind of leading up to next year's festival. So you can keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for when next year's festival is going to be taking place and who's going to be taking part. So again, hopefully you'll have enjoyed this video and hopefully you've found the festival intriguing, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.